Okay, today we're going to start working on finding a surface area. Surface area is the outside area of a box, a prism, a pyramid. So think about like your cereal box, the cardboard it would take to make it. That is the surface area. So real quick, before we get started, we want to review area of triangles and rectangles because all the objects we are going to be doing are made up of those two figures. So this is a triangle. So a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. So area equals 1/2 times. So I go over here and I look for my right angle so that I can find my base and height. So there's my right angle. So here's my base and here's my height. So the base is made up of two measurements. So I have to add those together. And 5 plus 9 is 14. So my base is 14. My height, right here, is 12. I do not need the 15 or the 13 because they are not part of my right angle. So then I multiply those together. So you take your calculator, 1/2 times 14 times 12, and our area equals 84 centimeters squared. Okay, down at the bottom, reviewing how to find the area of a rectangle, which is a type of parallelogram. So area equals base times height. Remember, the 1/2 is only for triangles. So area, looking for my right angle. Now they didn't mark it in here, so I have to look at it, and hopefully we remember that the corners in all rectangles are right angles. So that means this measurement and this measurement are going to give me my base and my height. So I have 28 times 18. So then you grab your calculator. 28 times 18, the area equals 504 feet squared. Now if you're looking at some of the directions that I didn't read, numerical equation, that's this right here, or up at the top, that's this right here. It's me showing what I'm going to use to find my answer. Being able to identify the different parts of the figure, being able to identify that this is my base and this is my height. This right here is my base and this in here is my height. Okay, go ahead and go on to the next page. Okay, as you can see, I wrote the word skip on this page. We're not going to work these out because of time. I want you to go ahead and go on to the next page. Okay, our figures here today are drawn on graph paper. They've already been flattened out, so we have our nets, and our directions for the 4 problems in this section are to name the solid it would create, then write an expression for the surface area, and then use that to determine the surface area. And then it tells us to assume each box on the grid paper represents 1 centimeter square. So that tells us that our measurement is going to be in centimeters. So when I look at this picture, I can see it is made up mostly of triangles. So in seeing that, I know that the second word in its name is going to be pyramid. And I know that because I have all those triangles. Now the first word is named for the base. My base is right here. And in here, I can tell by the measurements that those are squares, that it is a square. It is 4 by 4. So this is a square pyramid. Okay, now the second thing that it asks me to do is to determine an expression that would give me the area. So I want you to notice that this figure is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles, and 1 square. So I need to look at my triangles really carefully to see if they're all the same or if they're different, because they're not always going to be all the same. So this triangle up at the top has a base of 1, 2, 3, 4. So its base is 4 and its height is 3. And it's based on the line, not how many full squares there are, because I know some of those squares aren't completely filled in, but it's based on how long the line is, not the number of full squares. So those triangles, 1/2 times a base of 4 times a height of 3. Now I go to see if my other ones are the same, and if I come over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, same base, 1, 2, 3, same height. And I go to the one down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, same base, 1, 2, 3, same height. If I go to the one on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, same base, 1, 2, 3, same height. So this area, that formula, will work for all 4 of my triangles. So I'm going to take that and multiply it by 4. Okay. Now, the next thing I would need to add to that is the area of the square. And the square is 4 by 4. And for rectangles, I multiply the base times the height. So 4 times 4. So that is my numeric expression to give me my area. So I'm going to do what's in the parentheses first. So 1/2 times 4 times 3. So you can use your calculator to do that. And you get 6. So each triangle is 6. And I'm going to multiply that by 4 because I have 4 triangles. Plus the area of my square, 4 times 4 is 16. So now I have 24 plus 16, and that is 40. And our label is centimeters squared. All right, moving on to the one at the bottom. All right, so when I look at this one, I can tell that it is made up of a bunch of rectangles. And I do not see anything except for rectangles. So this particular figure is a rectangular prism. I know the first word has to be rectangular because I only see rectangles, and if it's got rectangles for all the lateral faces, that makes it a prism. So then I look at my picture, and I'm looking to see things that are the same or things that are different. So this particular rectangle, when I look at it, its dimensions are 5 by 2. So then I look to see if I see any more that look like they're 5 by 2. And this one right here, 5 by 2. Now I check the smaller ones going up and down, and I count. Are they 5 by 2 also? Yes, they are. So I have 4 rectangles that are 5 by 2. So when I write my expression for my area, each of those rectangles is 5 times 2, and I have 4 of those. Now I have 2 others that are the same as each other but not the same as those. So this rectangle is 5 by 5, and this one is also 5 by 5. So when I write that over here, the rectangle is 5 times 5, and I have 2 of those. So now I solve what I have in parentheses first. So area equals 10 times 4. So that means the area of each of those red ones is 10 centimeters squared, plus 25 times 2. Each of the blue ones is 25. Now I'm going to take care of my multiplication, and so I end up with 40 plus 50. And 40 plus 50 equals 90 centimeters squared. Go ahead and go on to the next page. Okay, on this one, I can see it's made up mostly of triangles, but its base is a rectangle. Unlike the one on the last page, it's a rectangle, not a square. So this is a rectangular pyramid. And I know it's a pyramid because of all the triangles. Now, when I go to find my area, I've got my rectangle and I've got my triangles. And when I look at these triangles, I can see that this one is the same as the one opposite it, but they are not the same as these. I can tell by looking at the shapes of them. Now I want to identify the lengths of them. So my rectangle is 4 by 3. My blue triangles are 1, 2, 3, 4 on the base, and their heights are 1, 2, 3, 4. So they have a base and a height of 4. The green ones have a base of 3 and a height of 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I write my expression, I'm going to start with my rectangle. 4 times 3. And I only have one of those. Plus my blue triangles, 1/2 times a base of 4 and a height of 4. And I'm going to multiply that by 2 because I have 2 of them. And then my green ones, 1/2 times 3, a base of 3, and a height of 4. And I have 2 of those, so I need to multiply that by 2. So now I'm going to take care of what's inside the parentheses. So in the first parenthesis, 4 times 3 is 12. Inside the second parenthesis, 1/2 times 4 times 4 is 8. And then I'm going to be multiplying that by 2 because there are 2 of them. And then inside the other parentheses, 1/2 times 3 times 4 is 6. And I'll also be multiplying that by 2 because there's 2 of those. So now I'm going to take care of my multiplication. 12 plus 16 plus 12. So we want to add those together. And my area is 40 centimeters squared. Okay. Okay, go to the one on the bottom of the page. Okay, this one is made up of only rectangles, so I know it's a prism. And its base is going to have to be a rectangle because that's all there is. So it's a rectangular prism. Now I look at the small rectangles, and this one is 6 by 1. And I can see that this one right here is also 6 by 1. Now, I look at the other one and they look really close, but once I look a little bit closer, I can see that these are not 6 by 1, they are 5 by 1. And then our large ones these rectangles right here are 5 by 6. So for my total surface area, I'm going to start with my gray ones. They are 6 by 1, and I have 2 of them. My red ones are 5 by 1, and I have 2 of them. And then for my green ones, I have 5 by 6, and again, there are 2 of them. So taking care of what's in parentheses first. Okay, so we're going to do 6 times 2. 5 times 1 is 5 times 2. And then 5 times 6 is 30 times 2. And then I'll take care of my multiplication. 6 times 2 is 30. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 30 times 2 is 60. And then I'm going to add those together. Whoopsies. That was 12. I bet you caught that. So then I add those together. And so my area equals 82 centimeters squared. Okay, go ahead and get started on your problem set.